I'm having a look at the odds right now, and they've got Tigers at $3.40, and I think they've accidentally put a decimal point in that because should be about 340 bucks. Because
we're going to start off the year at the actual start this time. We sort of came up with the idea last year, probably 5 or 6 rounds in, and then we ended up finishing pretty early. I guess we had to nut out a few things, but we're back this year. We're going to do a full season. We'll rotate through. We've got myself, Brad's back, and Stocksy, and Dave will be in. We're going to run with the 3-man cruise every time.
Unless we get a guest.
Unless we get a guest. But we'll sort of play it by ear. So we're going to sort of run through different people pretty much every week.
Who's it now when Rogan comes on?
Not me, Stocksy.
Well, I'm his biggest fan.
His biggest fan. This week we're going to go through who we're going to pick for the top 4, who's going to get the spoon, Dally M, who's going to make the grand final, so both teams, and then who's going to win that game, who we think will be most improved, and which team we think will decline from what they went on last year. And then we'll go into our tips for round 1, which starts on Thursday. Cool. So we'll go through round 1 preview first.
Do it.
Let's do that. Oh, sorry. We're running a tipping comp too, so we'll keep you up to date with who's winning the tipping comp.
It's just the 4 of us, right?
Yeah, just the 4 of us. Just the 4.
Sweet.
My team's called the Splotch Tack Sticks Box. Try and say that one fast.
Mine's the Hezbollah Hornets. the little fellas rapping.
So you're pro-Russian and anti-vax.
Love that motherfucker. Yeah, love that guy.
Yeah,
I think Dave's team's called the Bukaki Broncos too. So have you got Lemmy?
How do you even pronounce yours?
Who knows?
Lumbe.
Yep.
Alrighty. So, let's get into round 1, Brad. We'll go through each game, and then we'll give our tips, and then we'll just talk about it a little bit.
Let's do it. So first game, Panthers Manly Thursday night at Penrith Stadium, or Bluebet, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was originally tipping Panthers on this one, but news out today is that Cleary's out for 3 weeks, so I'm afraid I'm going to have to go with the Manly Sea Eagles by 10 points.
That's such a huge loss to the start of the season, especially with O'Sullivan. I watched him in the trials, and he seems solid, but I don't know. There's just something about Penrith that they don't perform well without Cleary. So I'm going to stick with Penrith, but yeah, it's going to be a lot tougher.
Not going to dog your boys just yet.
No, I won't dog the boys. What do you reckon, Brad?
I'm going Manly. Even with Cleary out, I was going Manly just based on their trial form in their team this year. I think they got some good signings. Bullimore, pretty excited to see him go. Kieran Foran back in the Sea Eagles outfit, but Turbo's back. So
I think I heard about someone talk about Manly earlier, and I tend to agree a little bit. Sort of Manly's success came off the back of Turbo's year last year, and I think that they will still be in and around the top 4. I haven't necessarily got them in mind, but I think they'll be in and around competing for those positions. I just don't know whether Turbo has another one of those years.
Manly's just that.
He might, but we'll see.
They're either 8th without him or they're 4th with him leading into the finals. Like they're such an injury-based team or club, sorry. So Second game, though, is Raiders versus the Sharks in Canberra. Stocksy, who you got?
I was thinking Raiders first up, but then I was just going through the ins and outs and everything. So obviously Raiders have lost Jamal Fogarty for like the whole season already in preseason. So that's a massive blow for them. The team list didn't really impress me. And then thinking about the Sharks, they've had some really good preseason form, but Nico Hines is just dominating as a 7 in season, and I think he's just really going to carve it up. And with Dale Finucane coming in as well, with some really good leadership in the forward pack, good luck stopping them, Raiders. So yeah, I'm going Sharkies.
I feel like the Sharks were really sort of heading in the right direction towards the end of last year. And I think, like you're saying, with Hines at 7 and Finucane, and then Moylan's back in, hopefully playing some good footy, I think that they're probably going to be a lot better than, I won't say a lot better, but definitely more consistent than what they were last year. I was very surprised with Hines at 7. I wasn't sold on him at 7 at all.
Not at
until
all.
I watched him in the trials, and he's just one of those people. He's got that natural ability. I think he will go well.
Fair. So game 3, Broncos Rabbitohs at Suncorp. I'm going.
Yeah, that's obviously going to be. Yeah, sorry, mate.
Sorry, mate. I'm going Sharks that last game as well, just based on Nico Hines. Fafita coming back pretty strong, and I like that. Trial form from the Sharks that they put on. Saw Croker as well. Just going back to the Raiders game. Saw Croker's named extended bench. Is he injured or is it form? Or
yeah, his long-term injury last year.
Yeah.
So he's still coming back, I believe.
Fair. So sorry, yeah, Friday night, 7:00, Suncorp Stadium, Broncos v Rabbitohs. Rabbitohs going in heavy favourites. Interesting squad name for the Broncos. We won't go too much into the Broncos this year. But it's good to see Corey Oates back. Kurt Capewell named captain. Jake Turpin at 9 will be good. Payne Haas, haven't heard a lot about him, but he's always strong. And Jermaine Osako at fullback. I think the Rabbitohs too strong.
Crazy.
What's that?
Yeah.
Osako at fullback. What's doing?
I think it's round 1. There's a lot of interesting decisions being made around teams. Round 1, it'll change week to week. I think for the first 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks.
Yeah. I honestly think with Hetherington and I think another guy out, can't remember his name, but Adam Reynolds. With the two of them out, I think Kevy's sort of had to default back to a conservative approach for the team. I think he was probably favouring Selwyn Cobbo to play fullback ahead of Osako, but now he's lost his chief playmaker before the season starts and one of his best forwards. So he sort of had to say, all right, well, we know what we're going to get from Osako, kind of. So they've gone with him. I think Jordan Pereira is pretty hard done by because he was a weapon on the wing in preseason. So, yeah, Broncos by 50 plus. And
you think Osako comes in because of his goal kicking? Because Reynolds isn't there?
Well, Stags can kick as well, but not with that accuracy. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think it's just Osako's got a minor ball playing ability. So instead of throwing Cobbo right in the deep end round 1, just sort of ease the Broncos into the season without their captain / halfback to see if he can pull them up out of the hole they've been in the last couple of years. So yeah, anyway, Rabbitohs are obviously going to win it probably by. I'll say 1 to 12 just to give the Bronx a bit of a boost at home.
I'm not that convinced about the Bunnies this year. I think that they lose more in Reynolds leaving than probably people really realise. Like, you think about how Cody Walker plays. He plays off the back of Reynolds, especially Reynolds' kicking game.
Yep.
Pretty much his entire game is based off that. So it'll really come down to this young bloke,
Lachlan Ilias, or-
Ilias, whether or not he can move the team around the park as well as what Reynolds does. I would arguably say that that's not going to happen because of his age. Oh. Hang on a sec. Hey, bud. Yes, all right. Sorry. Yeah, I would say that I'm going to go with the Broncos in an upset.
You know, you've actually sort of convinced me a bit too, because I forgot that Latrell's out for 85 weeks or something, and he's bashing his own teammates in practice now as well. So
so you got Broncos, and I'll go Rabbitohs.
Yeah,
it's going to be tight. It'll definitely
Broncos
be
in a tight one.
Yeah, I just think the Broncos across the park probably have a little bit more stability. I don't know how well. I mean, it's going to take a few games to really know where the Rabbitohs are at. I'm just not convinced they're going to gel as well as what they were last year with Reynolds gone.
Funny that it's Hodgie who won't stop talking about the Broncos now. So.
Yeah. Anyway, game
right up 4. Their ass. Right up their ass.
It's a closet fan.
So game 4, Roosters Knights. Roosters are almost full strength. They got Momorowski comes in, or to the club rather. I don't see any exclusions from or big outs for the Roosters. So, and I mean the Knights don't impress me. They never have ever since, well, ever really. So, yeah, trial form. I wouldn't really base my assessment of their year to come off that, but the Roosters too good, and they're heavy favourites. So, I'm going Roosters 13 plus.
Really interested to see, obviously, because the Roosters were so hammered with injuries last year. But they still managed to they weren't overly competitive with that top 4, but they were definitely in it. Considering that, looking through their team at the moment is just like 1 to 13, and even to an extent, their bench is a quality team. I feel like the Knights are that team that everyone kind of, well, not everyone, anyone that has any sort of investment in the Knights always has this thing where they start the season with all these high hopes, and then within 5 rounds they're like, oh great, here we go again, the same old season. That is sort of, they seem to promise a lot and not really give anything back. Their team on paper is not terrible. I mean, Adam Clune at 7 is a bit rubbish. Yeah, I think this is probably going to be a huge win for the Roosters.
Yep, Stocksy.
I don't think huge win necessarily. I will go 13 plus, but not like a pantsing. Yeah, Roosters coming off the back of last season where, I would say that even all their juniors were injured, but they don't have any. But they lost so many to injury last year. They lost both their captains and their most experienced players and stuff. Massive blows. So getting players like Keary back, it's going to be interesting to see how he pairs up with Walker, I reckon, because they haven't really played together. So that'll be the big key indicator for me to see how that pairing goes. And the thing is too, a lot of the time with players coming back from a long-term injury like Keary is, you remember how good they were, and you sometimes expect them to be straight back into that form. And it may, but you got to sort of think conservatively. But yeah, I'll go the Roosters.
I like Keary at 7 and Walker at 6.
Yep.
I like that Keary's going to have ultimate control. I think
but still has that running game.
Yeah, for sure.
So game 5. So we all went Roosters there. Some by 13 plus, some by 60 plus. Warriors Dragons. Just want to highlight again how much of a sacrifice the Warriors are making this year, playing this game at the Sunny Coast. This is tight, only according to Sportsbet, but I reckon the Warriors are 13 plus here. Sean Johnson's back. Adam Fanua-Blake, captain. Just strength all across the park. And the Dragons have Aaron Woods. So, yeah, I'm going New Zealand Warriors by 13 plus.
Yeah, the controversial move by the Dragons by getting rid of their best player, Cam McInnes, last year. I still can't get my head around that. For Andrew McCulloch in now, although to be fair, he was pretty good last year for the Dragons.
See Jack Bird in the second row for the Dragons.
Yeah.
Not a bad move. He's a big dude now.
Yeah, nice of him to stay on the park at his new team. But yeah, so I agree. Yeah, the Warriors, I expect them to win this one, but I'm not expecting much from the Warriors this season because I reckon conservatively that they're going to be playing a fair few games. I mean, when does the border open with New Zealand? It's not for another month or two, is it? So, I mean, I think the fatigue's got to catch up with them of being away from home for 2.5 years. But that being said, as soon as the border opens, they should get the entire season at home, like, in my opinion. So,
same.
So, long story short, I'll go Warriors.
I think I'm going to go with the Warriors. The Warriors are such a bizarre team to me because I just never know what they're going to bring. Like, they always start the season, it's the one team that you just will never know if they're going to be good, bad, if they're going to gel. I do like that Sean Johnson's back at 7. They do have a fairly decent forward pack. To be honest, the Dragons on paper should be fairly decent. If, like, you got Zach Lomax in the centers, Hunt is still solid at 7. Jack Bird, Jake DeBellin. Interesting, Moses Empire's coming on at 14. I don't know what kind of role he's going to play this year. I'm really interested to see Tyrell Sloan. I think he's probably one of the best young guys coming through. I'm going to go the Warriors, but I really think it can go either way in this one.
Cool. Next game, West Tigers versus Storm. Where's CommBank Stadium? What's that been? CommBank, is that?
That's the Paris Stadium, isn't it?
Unsure.
PointsBet, isn't it?
Yeah, is it? Oh, is it West Bank? Oh, CommBank. Is that Campbelltown?
Yeah, it might be Campbelltown. So is that CommBank Stadium?
It's Parramatta. It's Parramatta. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't ever doubt me.
West Tigers Storm heavy favourites. Look all right on paper. Nick Meaney 6, Jerome Hughes 7. Where's Munster? Did I miss something? Is he suspended or
suspended? Yeah.
Suspended. Yeah. Cool. So still going. Still going with the Storm. Harry Grant is
no, he's. Oh yeah. Oh no, he's suspended too.
Okay, cool. So
yeah.
Bromwich, Smith, Welch, Kafusi, Bromwich in the forwards, like, pretty strong all around. I think Xavier Coates will be standout by the year throughout the NRL. I think he's going to have a blinder. And yeah, just too good for the Tigers. Who you got, Stocksy?
I'm having a look at the odds right now, and they've got Tigers at $3.40, and I think they've accidentally put a decimal point in that because it should be about $340, because that is ridiculous that they're that short. They've lost Adam Dewey for at least 10 weeks, I think, and he's probably
friend of the show.
Best player.
Friend of the show.
Yeah. Well, he is a big long time listener to the Catch and Pass podcast. Adam Dewey. The line is at 9.5 points, which boggles my mind. It should be 95 points.
Yeah,
so insane. Don't bother wasting your money on the Tigers. Lock it in, Eddie. Storms are going to run away with it. Munster's out. They've got his replacement, but they may as well just run out with 12 blokes and they'll still put a score on.
Yep.
I think the Tigers are going to be
throwing it down at the Tigers round one, Stocksy.
I honestly think the Tigers are going to be complete dog shit again this year, and I don't know. I think I reckon by round 6 they say that Madge is going to get the ass, and he'll be the first coach to. He'll be the first coach to say, "Get on your bike for 2023, brother."
Absolutely, and I feel so sorry for their fans, man, because it's like this year in, year out. I mean, they won a premiership in 2005, but the statistics show this year they've got more captains than they've won finals in their history since they came into the comp in 2000. What the
hectic? That's so bad.
I think you're right. Like you can already see the headlines. St. Helens are pleased to announce the signing of Michael Maguire.
100%. And I think obviously, like you got Munster and Harry Green out, but the Storm are just those. It's that team that it doesn't matter who comes into the side; they do their job and they'll get the job done. I honestly think this is going to be an absolute pantsing for round 1. I think the Storm are going to run through them.
And remember too with the Storms, they've lost a few players already in Hines and Finucane, but they're losing both Bromwich brothers at the end of this season to the Dolphins as well.
Yeah.
So this is probably a year where Craig Bellamy is thinking we've got to go and have a real shot at a premiership this year, because who knows what squad he's going to have next year. I know he always finds a way with whatever he's got, but roll the dice this year, Bellyache. You have a big one.
It'll be all or nothing for him this year, I think.
Mid-season scouting holiday to Fiji or Samoa. Bellyache.
Oh, honestly, looking through the Tigers team, it's just full of nobodies. Oh god,
there's James Roberts.
Tough time, Tigers. Tough times.
Next game is at the same stadium. Combank. Have I read that right?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. Wait up. On the Sunday, Sunday 3:00. Eels versus your team, Hodgie, the Titans.
The Titans.
Eels led by King Gutho and Big Tino Allen.
Fasua Malawi.
Captain of the Titans, thank you. Going Eels here. Eels are awesome. I think Eels look really good at the moment. Unsure about their centres, one of their centres and one of their wingers. But depth across the park. Dylan Brown, Mitchell Moses, Campbell Gillard, Reid Mahoney, or Marnie. Don't get that. And Junior Polo. I think, Fafita and Big Tino.
Fasua Malawi.
This Eels going to be too good. I got Eels 13 plus in this game as well.
13 plus.
Yeah, I think it's tighter than that. The Titans, I think, are a pretty good side. I'm not too sold on them, but I mean, they were the Bulldogs before the Bulldogs, in the sense that you're just signing and throwing money at every player in the NRL to come play for you. So they do have a lot in their team. I do think the Eels will win. You said a name before, Dylan Brown. I think he is, in my opinion, potentially their best player this year. And I expect him to be best on ground in this game. The problem for the Eels is their outside back depth. They lost Sevo to a horrific injury. And I think they were knocking on the door at the Broncos asking if they could have Osako, just because they need some outside back depth. So that could make them struggle throughout the year. But round 1, lock them in, Eddie. I'm not going 13 plus though. I think you might see Fafita get a couple of runaway tries there if he's even playing. I haven't checked the team list.
Yeah, he
good research. Yeah, like I said, he's playing. And a couple of runaway tries from Fafita, or he'll set one up. But yeah, Eels will get the bickies on the day by, I reckon, 8 points.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get the Eels as well. Titans are very similar to the Warriors. Warriors for me.
You gonna puke?
No, that's absolutely not. Titans are very similar to the Warriors and sort of the Knights. They have players like Jaden Campbell. I think he's one of the best getting around. Brimson's gone to 6. You got Tino, Fafita. Like, you have players in there that can win you games. I'm just not sold that they can come together as a team and be solid week to week. I just like, they're going to have these games where they'll win when they shouldn't win, but yeah, bottom four.
Yeah, right. Titans, bottom 4.
Yeah.
Huge. On to the last game, round 1, Townsville, Queensland Country Bank Stadium, Cowboys versus the Bulldogs. Cowboys going to this favourites, $1.85, $1.95. I'm going Cowboys just based off their trial form. I don't know too much about the Tom Dearden and Chad Townsend pairing. I'm led to believe it's a trial almost again. I think Drinkwater is the next in line. That 7 jersey is seven's that number 7 jersey is Townsend's all year unless he's injured. And then obviously Drinkwater Dearden, and you could shuffle those guys around. But Bulldogs dangerous, man. Like, look at the signings. We'll go through them. Dufty, Brent Naden, Addo Carr, Matt Burton, Paul Vaughan, Tavita Pangai Jr. It's pretty big. Yeah, strong bench, big bench, but tipping Cowboys in a close one. 10 points.
I'm surprised Pangai Jr. is playing this game because I was certain that he was going to get suspended in a trial match, and he's an absolute liability at the moment. I reckon he's really got to pull his head in. Got a lot to say about him. Yeah, but you're right. They've signed everyone under the sun. Burton, massive signing for them, I reckon, as well as Addo Carr. Dufty, I'm not sold on Dufty. He's very rocks and diamonds, in my opinion, but we'll see how he goes. Their trial form, the Bulldogs, was garbage, and I think it's going to take them a while to put something together. Like you said, the Cowboys were flying in the trials. I still think the Cowboys are probably going to finish bottom 4 this year, but the Dogs will be right there with them. And up at Townsville, Cowboys will get home on this one. And I will say 13 plus, I reckon, just because of that home environment and Queensland.
So bottom 4, so just confirm it goes Cowboys, Titans, Tigers, Broncos. Who you got, Hodgie?
I said Bulldogs in there too.
So. I originally tipped the Bulldogs, but looking at the team sheet, I think I'm going to swap to.
You've just done a Daly Cherry Evans on 2 of your picks based on what Stocksy said.
Yeah, no, I'm backflipping because I watched the Bulldogs in their trials, and they pretty much did exactly what I thought they were going to do. They've bought a bunch of stars, but none of those stars play well together. Addo Carr went there as a fullback, and now he's on the wing. Dufty comes in, and I'm sort of with Al in the fact that I'm not that sold. He's very rocks and diamonds. Like, some days he'll score a 95-meter try and beat 13 people, and then the other day he won't be there. He'll drop the ball constantly and just be complete rubbish. I don't think Burton is a 6. I think he's much better suited for the centers. He's got a great boot on him, but as far as being a playmaker, I'm not really sold on him. And I don't think Jake Averillo's offering a lot to make up for Burton's shortfalls. Vaughan in the forward pack is going to make an impact. I think Josh Jackson is still a pretty solid performer, but yeah, I honestly, I don't know whether the Bulldogs are going to improve from there, from where they finished last year. I think they'll be Spooners, or if not, thereabouts. I'm really keen to see the Hammer at 1. I'd like to see how he sort of positions himself a lot. Coming from the wing, he's obviously going to be doing a lot more running. I like Hickle and Holmes. I'm not. I kind of wish they went with Drinkwater at 6. I feel like Dearden still seems to be in that sort of learning phase. I think maybe a year or two in Queensland Cup, he probably still needs that. But yeah, I'll go Cowboys, but I think it'll be like maybe by a try, if that.
Fair. So that wraps up round 1. Are there our tips? Over to you, Hodgie.
So just go back.
It's got a backflip again.
Backflip, yeah.
No. As a Cowboys fan, Brad, would you prefer Drinkwater or Dearden?
Drinkwater.
Yeah.
Like I had this argument today with this bloke, and he was baiting me for a further argument, saying, you know, why would you pick Dearden? Why would you pick who? Whatever. Obviously, there's something happening, injury, something at the club. It's Todd Payton's trialing Dearden with Townsend still. They're working on a pairing. Drinkwater's offside with the coach, has pictures, whatever. I don't know, but my preference, yes, with Drinkwater's creativity and his running game and Townsend's organisation, it's a no-brainer. Having an organiser in there and a structured half with another structured half, I don't know. It worked the other night against the Broncos and Mackay. Cool. I much prefer to see Drinkwater out there. I really would.
That's my thing. Is
Drinkwater
has got such a dangerous running game. He's just
pros and cons is Dearden can tackle better than Drinkwater, but my dog can tackle better than Drinkwater. So,
yeah, fair.
Oh, yeah. That's not to say too much. Boris is a bit of a machine.
Boris is gun. He's Russian. All right, let's go to our top 4s. Do you just want to go 1 to 4, or just want to say 4 teams that you think will finish top 4?
I'm gonna go 1 to 4.
Okay,
yeah, I'll go.
All right, let's be bold. All right, I'll start off, and I'm gonna go 4th. I think will be Para. I don't think they'll do much better than what they did last year, but I think they will perform as good. I'm going to go Storm at 3rd. For no other reason other than I think the Roosters will be probably the biggest performers this year. And then I'm going to go Penrith. I think Penrith will finish top of the table again. I'm hoping.
That went exactly the way I thought it would. So I in no particular order.
You just said you're doing 1 to 4.
Yeah, you just said you were going to do 1 to 4. So in a particular order.
Okay, so in some kind of particular order, I'm going to say that 4th will be the Rabbitohs. They're going to come good at the back end of the season. 3rd, and they're going to miss the grand finals, Panthers. I am tipping a Roosters and Sea Eagles grand final. Yep. Storm 5th, and 6th maybe a smoky the Warriors. Make it
So
to
who
week 2 of the finals.
Who have you got finishing first?
Big call.
Roosters.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Top 4. 4th, I'm going Storms because try and stop them.
You just like saying Storms?
Well, yeah, that's their name. Yeah, they well, you know what they're like. They're always up thereabouts and stuff. I think they'll find a way to finish top 4. I've gone Manly 3rd and Chooks 2nd. Those could easily swap though, I reckon. And yeah, I think Penrith will probably finish on top again if all goes to plan. This is looking at a perfect world where Cleary plays every game he's available for, which he already isn't going to be. But for if he comes back round 4 and stays on the pitch for the rest of the season, then I reckon they're minor premiers. That's the top 4.
I am praying that this year is going to be different to last year in the fact that there's going to be way more teams, and it kind of seems like it's going to work out that way. There's going to be a lot more teams than just those top 3 or 4 that are going to be contenders. I feel like I got through we got halfway through last year. It's like, well, it's pretty clear who the top 4 are going to be. I think with Manly, Para, Storm, Roosters, Penrith, they're all probably starting the year on an even keel. It'd be interesting to see how it works out up until Origin. I'd like to see the latter at Origin time. Who are we going to go for the spoon?
I don't know if you caught my opinion on the Tigers earlier, but I don't have strong hopes for them doing well. I reckon they might finish the season with maybe eight ladder points, 4 of those provided by the buys. So yeah, if they're lucky, 2 wins. Tigers, spoon. Sorry, Casso.
I agree.
Jackson Hastings, no impact.
I think he'll have an impact, but not
It
enough
will.
to. Because you look at the teams that were bad. I based it off the teams that were poor last year. The Broncos are obviously definitely going to improve. The Dogs, even though I don't think they'll do very well, should improve with the players that they have. If you look at the Tigers squad, I don't see what they're going to improve on. And Jackson Hastings isn't going to be the guy that's going to make them do any better.
Yeah.
Tyrone Peachy.
No.
Possibly.
Again, he'll have probably a little bit of an impact, but I don't think he's going to there's too much wrong with that team for it.
He's
club.
Peachy's a professional 14, and I don't think you can have a club turnaround in that role. If he's going to influence that club coming out of the doldrums, then he needs to be a player that starts every match, and he's not that player.
Exactly that. Yeah. Like I said, I think he'll have an impact and he'll probably do something for them. I mean, he's a bit of a journey. He's been around different clubs. He might bring some sort of maybe a bit of culture to the team and try and get them together. But yeah, like I said, I'm sort of basing it off. I think there's too many teams below them from last year that are going to improve, and I just can't see them improving one a little bit. So yeah, I'm going to go.
And yeah, like I said, with Dewey missing for so much of the season, he's the one that they need firing, and they're just not going to have that. So yeah, I just think they might have an improvement in the later half of the season when he comes back. But yeah, I think the damage will be done by then. They'll be lucky to win a game before he comes back.
That's what I mean. I think their season will be too far gone by the time he gets back, and even him, as good of a player as he is, I don't know whether he has
Watch them win 40-0 against Storms now.
Should have gone on at $360. What do you think, Brad?
I can't go past the Tigers, man, but I also think St. George are going to be nudging on the door for the wooden spoon.
Yeah.
And I think if things go really, really bad in Brisbane with injuries, Brisbane as well. But I hate running down teams, especially teams that you guys go for. But I certainly do think that my team, the Cowboys, can't have another year like we did last year, the year before. Broncos are up there as a club that just has such expectations based on how many members they have. But the Dogs, like we've touched on earlier, is they've recruited all these apparent stars, but they're either out of position at the Bulldogs now, or they're rocks and diamonds at their club they came from. So it's, yeah.
You remember the old saying is that a champion team will always beat a team of champions. So,
yeah, exactly.
So that's it. You can't just throw in all these superstars in together and hope for the best.
I don't think Barrett is the right fit for him. There's a couple of other coaches out there, but on the Bulldogs.
Well, he's under pressure already because
I think he's under more pressure than Madge.
Well, if he fails at the Dogs, then he's not getting another gig ever again because he's failed Manly. And,
one thing I do want to...
Did he step in at Penrith for a bit?
One thing
really.
One thing I do want to see is when the Dogs play the Warriors, if the Warriors get up, I want Nathan Brown to slap Trent again.
Remember this?
Yeah, you listening?
I think the one saving grace, what you're saying about Madge, at least Madge has that thing where he was at the Bunnies and he did really well with them. He has that thing that like proves
Legacy.
that he has that thing where he can prove that he can coach.
He's got runs on
Barrett
board.
Yeah, Trent Barrett doesn't have that. He did well under Cleary as a attacking coach, but I mean, maybe that's where he peaks. Maybe he needs to go somewhere as an attacking coach.
It's those current day coaches that were better players than they'll make coaches. It's the Madges, it's the Bellamy's, it's the, you know, Wayne Bennett's, it's the players that have coached now that lots of experience, lots of footy brain, but yeah, I don't know, man.
Honestly, if I'm Madge, I'm like texting Wayne Bennett right now, going like, "You up?" Or just you know, work your way into the DMs early, so when you get sacked, you can get a assistant job at the Dolphins and then kick him down the stairs or something.
Wouldn't take much.
Wouldn't
take much.
Strong win
to knock him out.
Yeah, mate. He's far out. He's I think he coached the Jerusalem Sevens back in the day or something like.
Just the maxi taxi step he's gone.
Yeah. All right, so we'll go into the grand final. Both teams that are going to play and who will win. I've got the 2003 rematch of Penrith and the Roosters. I've got Penrith as winning, but that comes with pretty much no confidence. As I really want them to, I just feel like they had a huge year in 2020. They had an even bigger year last year. To do that for a third time and go back to back, I'm praying that the wheels don't start falling off.
Big ask,
but it is a huge ask to go back. If they didn't have the season they did in 2020, then I would probably be more confident in the fact that they might have the ability to go back to back. 3 years at the toppest, at the highest, performing at the highest level. I just don't know. I mean, they might, but it's just been a lot of years of being complete rubbish. All of a sudden now they're really good. I hope they can keep it going like the Storm have that ability to do that. Awesome. But yeah, it's just they just don't have that track record of being able to do it year in, year out. So it'll be interesting to see. I hope that they do, but yeah. Stocksy.
So he's written off his own team there, old Benny Cherry Evans, but yeah, no, well, I've got Penny in the grand final again. I'm feeling a bit less confident about it than I was last week when I wrote that down. I don't know if Cleary being out to start the season has anything to do with that, but I mean, it's only a couple of weeks. It shouldn't matter too much. Although when you add that up, he's also going to be missing for Origin, you would expect.
Yeah.
Maybe throw in a couple of niggles. Who knows what might happen? But anyway, I've written down Penrith v Manly grand final. And just for the interest of not just agreeing with what you just said, I'll say Manly to win. With zero confidence.
Pretty good, Brad.
I think it'll be a Manly Roosters grand final.
All right. Who's winning?
Roosters. If they can stay injury free, and the news that Robinson is re-signed to 2049. Yeah. Dangerous, scary, scary to think how well they're going and how strong their side is, losing someone like Latrell. Pretty impressive. I think the only sort of question mark I have around the Roosters is those injuries. Luke Keary's he'd do an ACL. He'd do a pec injury or a knee and a concussion in Oztag. He's,
I honestly think he's one concussion away from retirement. Unfortunately.
Yeah, you hope not, but I'm pretty keen. I'm pretty keen to see the Roosters play this year. Like, it's impressive.
I think on,
Yeah.
on
They got the
paper,
park.
they definitely have the best team. Like if you look through their full squad, their team is full of like very, very good players.
I think one of the most underrated signings of the offseason is Connor Watson. And I think he's going to have a big impact coming in there.
He'll play out of his skin at the Roosters under Robinson. He's going to play better there, just the same as he would for Bellamy at the Storm if he was there. He'll go really well. I
My
didn't
only
know
interest is
Kevin
seeing him at
Naguama.
9 full stop.
Kevin
Oh yeah,
Naguama
how
plays for
crazy
the
is that?
Roosters.
Yeah, how gnarly is that? Eh?
Unbelievable.
Actually, and so talking about underrated signings, this is one actually leaving the Roosters. Isaac Liu going to the Titans. I think that's a big loss for the Roosters, but I think they can cover it. So it's a bigger win for the Titans than it is a loss for the Roosters. That
Yeah, for sure. Going back to
he's a gun.
Going back to Connor Watson, I think my only thing with him is he's been named to start at 9. I don't like it'll be interesting to see how he goes having that full time 9 spot. But yeah, good player, good signing.
Unreal.
Alrighty,
And he's up against his old team round 1.
Oh, straight up against old KP. All right, we'll go into our Dally M's. I don't think it's going to be too much of a surprise. I'm going to go with N Cleary. Pretty much Penrith's success this year will be off the back of whatever he does, which
Just
pains
fuck
me.
all for 3 weeks.
It shits me that a little bit that sort of Penrith rely on him so much, but he's such a great player. He's been so close in and around that Dally M tally. If he's going to do it, I think this is the year that he needs to do it. This is the year that is probably going to define him as a player. Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be Cleary. He's, you could probably call him unlucky in 2020. And then, that injury cost him last year with Turbo coming in and having a blinder of a season. I would lean towards Cleary, but I wouldn't be surprised if Turbo goes back to back and maybe even tie with Cleary.
Yep.
That or Sacco.
I got 3, and they're all asterisks with injury. As we know, they're always susceptible to injuries. Turbo. I'm going Turbo. I'm going. He's every chance of getting the Dally M whenever he steps on the park. Like, you guarantee when he plays, that he's at least getting 1 Dally M point. Cleary. Up there. Definitely. If he has the year he had last year in 2020, there's no reason why he can't. And my Smokies, Chad. That's just 2. Sorry.
Who do you reckon out of Turbo, and who do you think's more likely out of Turbo and Cleary?
I'm going to say Cleary, just based on the
down
games.
to injuries.
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to say Cleary, just based on the games he's going to play. He's going to play at least 20 games. Yeah, fair. He's out for the first 3, but you know what you're going to get from him for 85-90% of the season.
I think the thing that's going to hinder Turbo is the fact that it is a hamstring injury, and hamstrings are notorious for going over and over and over again. Especially in that position he plays, he's going to have to click up so many kilometers, and that real sort of jog to 100%.
Yep.
I mean, I hope for his sake that he can stay on the park. He's definitely the most influential player for Manly. It'd be interesting. It's definitely probably between those two. Maybe if Kiri can have a really good season with the Roosters, I think he will probably be up there too. I feel like this year is definitely shaping up to be a much more interesting season, just because there's going to be more teams really vying for those top positions. I still think though that there's going to be those top 5 or 6, and then everyone else below are going to be just making up the numbers, I think.
Yep.
All right. Just quickly, we'll go into what team do you think will improve the most and what team will decline. I'm going to say the Broncos are going to be the biggest improvers as far as moving ladder position. And I think that I'm going to say the Tigers are going to be the biggest decline, only because I think the teams that finished below them last year will improve much more, which will push them down. Soxy?
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, I'm obviously going to go the Broncos as well for big improvers. I've got high hopes that once they get the whole team back on the field, that we'll see a bit of a turnaround there. For decline, I'm going the Knights. They I think they finished 7th last year, 6th or 7th. I can't see them making the 8 again this year. I don't know. I don't see them dropping all the way to bottom 4, but they'll certainly be looking at the roadmap on the way there. So,
Yep. My big improvers are my team, the Cowboys. I think comparatively with the Broncos not knowing their 6, 7 and 6 and 7 and 7 and 6 and who they're playing week to week, preseason is pretty concerning, where the Cowboys have a option waiting to come on should someone get injured or not play to standard or mix with Chad Townsend. So I'm saying the Cowboys for the big improvers. The biggest decline or disappointment, I'll call them, of 2022 will be the Knights as well. I just don't think Ponga's the guy everyone says he is. I think that team really rely on him, and it's a little bit depressing to see, because for someone so young to have that much pressure on himself, I just don't see it. And the Tigers will be another disappointing side, I think. But in terms of where in terms of where they're going to be this year as compared to last year, the Knights are going to be, I think, definitely bottom 4, with like the St. George's or the Bulldogs or the Tigers or the whoever.
I think the difference, like you're saying, with the Knights really relying on Kalen Ponga, I was going to say sort of it's probably more so because it's a fullback, but then you look at Turbo. I think the difference with Turbo is, yes, that they Manly do rely heavily on him, but they do have that good spread of good players in front of him that have the ability to step up, and they don't, like, obviously Turbo makes a huge difference to Manly, but when he's out, that's probably not as detrimental. Whereas Ponga, they look at him to play fullback, but then also be the 7 and be the 6 and sort of do everything. And as great a player as he is, he just doesn't have that. And that's no knock on him. He doesn't have the ability to cover all those positions, and he shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
My biggest knock on Ponga, is that if I'm a Knights fan, I feel like Ponga's constantly got one foot out the door, doesn't he? Because every one of his contracts, he's got a get out clause in every year. Yeah. Like he's got to get out just in case he wants to go play rugby.
There's always that All Black stuff in the background as well.
Yeah. And I'm just like, show a bit of commitment to the club, sign for 3 years.
Yeah.
And say, okay, I've got nothing to concentrate on now except for winning games for the Newcastle Football Club.
Yeah.
And Queensland, if I feel like playing for them.
It's a bit like when I hear this All Black stuff. I'm not sure if it's a media beat up and there's just someone saying, "Oh, he wants to play for the," or it's him. But it'd be like some A-League player that's on the bench every week for the Mariners saying, "Oh, I can't wait to get to Liverpool. I just can't wait."
Yeah.
It's like you're pointing at the best sporting team, arguably the best sporting team in the history of sports. Like, I think you need to focus on your club, what you're doing down there. Yes, you bought a house or whatever he's done. Sign long-term or just even 2-3 years, like Stocksy said, and just get on with it.
Just get rid of the get out clauses and show. Okay, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not trying to look for a way out.
Yeah. I tend to agree with that a bit, actually. Yeah. Cool. All right. Good one. First up. I forgot to say at the top, we got a sponsor now. The boys at Reborn Clothing have jumped on board. So within the next couple of weeks, we'll have our t-shirts. But yeah, good to have a sponsor this year. So shout out to Reborn Clothing. Go and check them out on Instagram.
And Nike, thanks again this year as well.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Obviously, all the good equipment and all whatnot.
Yeah, we were approaching
you
Russian
paid your internet,
oligarch, but
hey, you paid your internet. You keep cutting in and out. We lost him.
I think my extender's fucking up on me, but you got me?
All good.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Right.
That's a better pod. Nice and easy, straight to the point.
Yeah. So yeah, first one in the bag for this year. Like I said.